that we have with us this evening. For our current district officers, we have Maggie Goldhagen, Linda Kennedy, Tashawn Harris Ugorja, Robin Jenkins. For our current division director, we have John Jones and Martha Stevens. Our past district director, Linda Kennedy, and also with us, our past district governor, distinguished Frank Gullah. So let's give them a round of applause for joining us this evening. We definitely appreciate it because it definitely takes a whole, truly a village of great leaders, along with our Toastmasters members, to make Toastmasters International what it is, which is so great. So thanks again for everything. But now I'm going to pass my baton over. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Tammy Adama. Tammy has been a Toastmaster since 2009. She is currently a member of New Beginnings, where she serves as the Vice President of Public Relations. Tammy is currently on level 4 of our wonderful pathways. She is in visionary communication. So let's all give a round of applause for our MC this evening, Tammy Adame.
Thank you. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Welcome to the District 66 2022 Virtual Conference. Virtual reality. What's your digital connection? As Ina so graciously introduced me, my name is Tammy Adama, and I am proud to be a member of New Beginnings Toastmaster in Virginia Beach. This is my first time attending a district conference, and I am so excited for what is in store for us this evening and all of Saturday. If this is your first time attending a conference, throw a thumbs up in your window. Anybody? Oh, a couple of fingers there. I see you. Great. If you have been to conferences in the past, show us some love with a heart in your window. Very good. Love it. Look at all that love. Beautiful, beautiful. Speaking of past conferences, let's take a look at the video clip. Frederica, would you please play that for us?
Thank you, Tammy. It gives me great pleasure. I am so fortunate to be such a newbie, but been blessed enough with pictures of conferences back to almost 10 years. Oh, that is just a golden moment. So if you give me just a moment, I am going to get my screen prepared for something I know you are going to hopefully, for sure, enjoy.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend.
Back to you, Tammy.
How beautiful a video. It just warms my heart. Okay. So thank you, past, current, and future members, for being a friend. At this time, I am privileged and honored to introduce our keynote speaker. Roddy Spear, Distinguished Toastmaster of Piscataway, New Jersey, is a software engineer for AT&T in Middletown, New Jersey, and has worked in the telecommunications industry for over 30 years. She has expertise in software development, systems administration, and acceptance testing. She troubleshoots problems and develops software for projects that impact millions of people. Spear holds a master's degree of science in electrical engineering from the New Jersey Institute of Technology in Newark, New Jersey. She participates in employee resource groups at AT&T, including Women of AT&T, and Inspiration, which fosters development and leadership opportunities for its members. She was also an assistant Girl Scout troop leader for 5 years. A Toastmaster since 2000, Spear is a charter member of her home club, AT&T Middleton Toastmasters in Middleton. She has held several high-profile leadership positions within Toastmasters and has attained the Distinguished Toastmaster designation, the highest level of educational achievement in the organization. She says, in Toastmasters, you learn skills that you can use in all aspects of your life. And as you help others, you learn and grow at the same time. I now have the ability and the confidence to speak up. As an officer of the Toastmasters International Board of Directors, Spear is a working ambassador for the organization. She works with the board to develop and modify the policies and procedures that guide Toastmasters International in fulfilling a mission. Please help me welcome Toastmasters International Second Vice President, Distinguished Toastmaster, Roddy Spear.
I love to belong to an organization that cuts across national boundaries and welcomes people from different cultures and occupations. Toastmasters brings us all closer together with our common goal of personal growth. Fellow Toastmasters, growing up, I used to feel out of place. I was a very shy, quiet child, and my family moved to Africa when I was 3 years old, and I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria. I had a wonderful childhood, don't get me wrong, but I was very shy and quiet. And my first grade teacher was this tall, big man, like a heavyset Denzel Washington. And he always wanted the kids to stand up and answer the questions. And when it would be my turn, I would just be whispering, and he would say, "Speak up." And I would just tremble and whisper even more. My family moved back to India when I was about 12. And because I grew up in Africa, I had the accent, my clothes were different, and the kids made fun of me. So my parents put me in a Catholic school, so I wore uniform and I looked like the other children and I could blend in. But every time I opened my mouth, I sounded different and they would laugh. And I tried very hard overnight to get an Indian accent. Then several years later, after I finished my college degree, I came to the US for my master's in electrical engineering. And I was surprised to find that I was the only girl in all my engineering classes. So I would try and sit in the last row and kind of blend in. But eventually the professors would spot me and they would say, "You there, can you come up? Can you answer this question? Can you write on the board?" And I didn't have the confidence or the courage to speak up, or every time I was picked on, so I would just come up and do what they said. But I found my home and my voice in Toastmasters, and I wish I found it sooner. You know, Toastmasters has been in existence close to 98 years. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel. All we have to do is follow their guidelines and we will all do so much better. You know, Dr. Smedley, our founder, was brilliant when he came up with the concept of Toastmasters. Every member has a home. Their home is their club. And if that club provides them a supportive and nurturing environment, they do well. Now, when you come to the district conference, all of you know the district mission. But you know, every club has a mission. And if that club lives up to the club mission, then the member does well. So if you look at our club mission, right, the club provides a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. So everybody in the club wants to help each other do better. That's what Toastmasters is about. We are all there to help each other. And one of my favorite quotes is by a founder, Dr. Smedley, who said, "Ours is the only organization I know dedicated to the individual. We work together to bring out the best in each of us, and then we apply these skills to help others." How great is that, right? We don't care about the stock market. We don't care about the share price, the stock price. We are there just to help each other. And Toastmasters has this vast support system to help the member do better. Now, you might think that the org chart looks like this, with Maggie, our district director, at the center of things. She has a right hand with Linda, and her other right hand with Tishon, and the public relations manager, the admin manager, finance manager, division directors, and area directors. But really, the two, and they do a lot for the district, obviously, but the true org chart in Toastmasters is with the member at the top. Everything we do is to help the member. The whole organization, the support structure that they have is to help the members do well. So the clubs are there, the foundation of our organization, to help the members. Then we have the area supporting the clubs, the divisions supporting the areas, the districts supporting the divisions, the region supporting the districts, and then of course, the board of directors and world headquarters. So all this support structure is there for the member to do well. And right now we are 300,000 members in over 15,800 clubs in 149 countries. We are one big happy family. So if you come back to our club mission, right, we provide the supportive and positive learning experience where members are empowered. See, we don't use the word teach. By giving that environment, the member develops these communication and leadership skills, which results in greater self-confidence and personal growth. And I tell you, I'm sure all of you have seen that. When a member joins a club, within 6 months, you see the difference. You see how much better they're doing. They find their potential. And so if we go over what we learn just by being a club member, first of all, we learn communication skills, right? We learn to stand in front of a group of people and get a message across in the time allocated. We learn time management, right? We get the message across in the time given to us. We run well-structured meetings. We have an agenda. We know exactly when the speakers are going to speak, how long, and then the table topics, and then the evaluation. I cannot tell you where I work at AT&T, how many times I wish those managers or people would join Toastmasters and have an agenda and stick to it and finish on time. So many meetings just drag on and on. We learn enhanced customer communications. You know, when I deal with my customers, sometimes they don't even know the right question to ask. And when they ask the question, I use what I learn in table topics. I try to think of all the information I have. I put it all together and I answer as cogently as I can. And the customer says, yeah, that's what I was asking about. So things that we learn in Toastmasters, we can use in everyday life. And we learn presentation skills, right? Vocal variety, using props, using gestures, keeping our audience's attention. And of course, constructive feedback. And that we use in all aspects of life. We have to give feedback to our children, we give feedback to our family. And if you're in the corporate world, you give feedback to your employees. You have once a year evaluations where we give feedback. So all that we do in Toastmasters, we use in everyday life. And it's really, really beneficial. And what it boils down to is self-confidence. Now, when I first started my job after I graduated from engineering, I thought, you know, I'm the new kid on the block. What do I know? Everybody here knows more than me. And the boss was there. And I thought it's a way of showing respect. So I used to sit quietly in the meetings. And I'm thinking I'm showing respect. But a few weeks after I joined, my boss called me aside and he says, "Do you understand what's going on? You don't say anything." And when I tried to speak up, it was not easy. And luckily for me, my sisters in India had joined a Toastmasters club and they said, "You need to join. That will really help you." And the funny thing is, they belong to one of those 7 clubs in India and Sri Lanka. They didn't belong to an area or a division or a district. They didn't know anything about that. All they knew was that Toastmasters worked for them and helped them. And they wanted me to join Toastmasters. Think about it. They are thousands of miles away. They tell me to join Toastmasters. It made a huge difference in my life. Every time you get a member to join, you start a new club, you're making a difference in someone's life, a positive difference, an investment in them. This is a win-win situation because when you're in Toastmasters, you're helping yourself and you're helping others. And just to give you a story about self-confidence, I had a dentist appointment and, for cleaning. So, kind of brush and floss and I was running late. So I was rushing. And when I was flossing, I broke a filling. Well, it happens. So I get to the dentist, they clean my teeth. And the person he was retiring, Dr. Landsman, he said, "Well, he took x-rays, everything looks fine, but come make an appointment and let's just get that filling done." So I'm like, all right. So I make the appointment and they said the new doctor would be a Dr. Goldstein. I go back a few weeks later, and I'm waiting for Dr. Goldstein in the chair. And in walks this short Indian woman. And I look at her and I'm like, "You're Dr. Goldstein?" I guess just the way she looked at me, like, "You're Miss Spear." But she treated me. And then after she finished the filling, she looks at my x-rays and then she says, "I see a shadow here in this tooth. And here on the lingual side, I think we need to do something." And as she's speaking, I'm thinking to myself, Dr. Landsman retired because he was old, not because he's blind. He never mentioned any of this. And I'm thinking this lady wants to put a whole wing on this dental office. So Toastmasters gave me the confidence and I spoke up and I said, "I would like to have a second opinion and I would like copies of all my x-rays." And she says, "Certainly, no problem." And I walked out. And I happened to have a friend who was a dental student at Columbia, which is a little far away. And I called her up and I said, "Maya, can you believe this? This new doctor says I need to get all this work done." So I walked out and I asked for copies of the x-rays. And she says, yeah, send it to me. I'll ask my professors. I'll get back to you. Well, a week later, she calls me back and she's like, "Radhi, she's right. You need to get all that work done." I'm like, "What? How do I go back?" But she says, "Don't worry. If you're willing to come to the teaching hospital, I'll work on it." So I went there and she worked on my teeth. But a few months later, she had gone on vacation and I was dentistless. Now what do? I had toothache. But hey, Toastmasters has given me self-confidence. I happily call Dr. Goldstein and I say, I have an issue. Can I come in? "Sure, no problem." I go back, she treats me, and all is well. Now you may wonder, why is she telling us this embarrassing story, right? Well, the thing is this, I didn't have Toastmasters and I didn't get that self-confidence, I would have thought the entire time this lady's ripping me off, she's doing all this work, unnecessary work. But now I know she was a good doctor. What she was saying was right. And Toastmasters gave me the confidence to speak up and find out. And that's, I think, the greatness about Toastmasters. It gives us self-confidence. We learn communication skills, leadership skills, and that really opens all the potential for all the things we could do. So when I looked at your theme, know your path, walk your path, I thought, many of us know our path. We know what we'd like to do, but to walk it is very hard. And we need that self-confidence. We need those communication skills, those leadership skills. And that's what we learn in Toastmasters. And it also reminded me of what our founder, Dr. Smedley, said. he said, the destination determines the direction. And I think when you know your path, we now need to walk it, and to walk it, we need Toastmasters. So fellow Toastmasters, I would like to conclude by saying one of my favorite quotes from Mark Twain, who said, the secret of success is getting started. And you've all started by joining Toastmasters. So I look forward to this absolutely amazing conference. I just saw the schedule. I'm really excited about it, excited about the contest. And I look forward to attending these workshops, watching the contest, and I will speak to you again tomorrow. With that, back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much. Everybody, if you could unmute yourselves, show your video, let's give some love to Ronnie Spears. That was
Wonderful
wonderful.
job. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so right now we're gonna have a Q&A session, Roddy, if you do not mind. So let's see, how am I gonna see who wants this? Freddie, are you watching to see who can?
Yes, I'll be glad to
All right.
assist.
Thank you.
Since we started a little bit early because we were like so excited. Yes. And if you don't mind, Roddy, to share a little bit more. I know that there are lots of folks out there that got some questions. Do you have about 10 minutes to spare?
Sure.
Oh, this is wonderful. Yes. Okay, Ina, back to you.
Okay, all right. Does anyone have a question? Is that Rita? Is that someone on mute? If you have a question, you can just raise your hand or unmute yourself. It's kind of hard for me to see all the pages here.
Oh, we have Marilyn,
Oh.
Frank.
Okay. And I have a question in the chat. You can also drop a question in the chat if you'd like, and I read it. Vicky is asking, Roddy, when you were in your career, where were you in your career when you started Toastmasters?
When I started Toastmasters, I was just an entry-level person. I had just come to the US. I came on a student visa and changed that to a work permit. And then I had to get a green card. So there's a long process. So I just came in as an entry level. But I tell you, and I didn't have Toastmasters. The funny thing was, as a desperate foreign student, I had been an adjunct instructor. I had taught class, I had stood in front of students, but it's not the same. And when I had that job, it was very hard to speak up because I think the average American speaks with such confidence, and you're just this new kid there, and it's like very, very, very intimidating. But Toastmasters gave me my voice, because right now I work with 17 men because engineering is a very male-dominated field. But Toastmasters, I can speak up, I can give feedback to my boss, I can tell them what I think. So Toastmasters really works.
Thank you. Let's see, Frank, you can unmute. You have a question?
Sure. Let me start out. Roddy, you don't know me well, but I've been in Toastmasters a long time. I've been in Toastmasters since the 90s, and we've always been Toastmasters International. But back when I first joined, I quickly discovered that we were international more in name than in reality. And I'm curious to know, how widespread is Toastmasters in India and South Asia?
Oh, it is growing extremely fast in Asia. Do you know that we are now barely 50% in North America? I think we are more than 50% outside North America. We're growing extremely fast in India, in China, in the Middle East, in South Africa, in Africa proper. So truly it has taken off. They see the value in us. Unfortunately, I don't think we North Americans see the value that is there. But really, this program works, and many people are taking advantage of it.
Thank you.
Next, Marilyn, you had a question?
Yes, Roddy, I just really admire you. Just your path amazes me. I am a STEM educator and I work with girls who code. And of course, we are dedicated to closing the gender gap. And I really appreciate that you're doing that. One of the questions that we have in it's a table topics question is that if you could tell your 20-year-old self something, what would that be? Well, my question is, if you could go back and think about when you were in the 3rd or the 5th grade and thinking about your Toastmasters experience now and about the importance of communication, what would you tell a girl who is in the 3rd through the 5th grade and desires to go into a STEM field? What would you tell her about communication and the importance of it? And what would you tell her about Toastmasters?
I think that's an easy question because I have 2 daughters, and when they were in middle school, I forced them to do youth leadership. You can't really force them in college or when they're older, but in middle school you can. They didn't really want to do it, but they did. And I have to tell you, my older daughter studied chemical engineering at Cornell. And when she had to give a presentation, her professor was blown away. He's like, wow, I have never seen an engineering student speak so well. How come? And she immediately said Toastmasters. And he said, you're a Toastmaster? She's like, no. But, she'd done youth leadership and that was enough. They had grasped so much from that she took it with her. And now she works for Johnson & Johnson. She even won some award, a speaking award when she gave a presentation. It really works. My younger daughter too. I mean, I was really insistent that they do it. It really works. It really helps. Of course, Toastmasters, you have to be 18, but luckily we had the youth leadership and that really helped. And yes, communication is important. If 2 people with similar resumes, who do you think is going to get ahead? The person who can get their message across, their point across, right? And in countries overseas where it's so popular, like for example, India, with the population of over 1 billion, to stand out, no wonder they want Toastmasters. They can express themselves better and climb that corporate ladder.
All right, thank you, Roddy. I'm gonna jump to the chat here. I have a question from Karen Robinson. What is your biggest challenge as international second vice president?
Well, I have to tell you this, just like anything you do in Toastmasters, they give you training, they give you orientation. I have had the most supportive group in the executive committee. And so far, they helped me along the way. I have to learn to read all the budget and the finances. Some of those things are not something I'm used to. But that is one of the beauties about Toastmasters. In my day job, I just sit with computers and work. But in Toastmasters, inanimate objects. But now I deal with people, different situations. And the thing with the second VP role, the perspective is even global, because right now our organization is affected by the war in Ukraine, in Russia, by what's the geopolitical forces happening. It's just amazing how this small, not-for-profit, 125 people in Colorado are taking care of 149 countries and all the stuff that's going on. It's very impressive. And I'm really excited for us. I know these are challenging times, but I'm sure we'll get out of it.
Thank you. Our next person, Shirley Tyree, you have a question for Yada?
I'm sorry, that was operator's error.
Oh, okay, not a problem at all. So we have our past international director. Welcome, Salazar. You have a question for Roddy?
Hello, Roddy. How are you doing?
Fine, thanks. Hello.
Nice to see you on the board.
Yes.
Good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Tell me, can you give us some preview of the incoming international conference, and how can you convince me that I should come in person?
Yes, this is going to be the first hybrid international convention in Nashville. And I have to tell you, that we are really planning for this. It's going to be extremely exciting, but we also know that many people can't make it, and that's why we made it hybrid. So those who can come can come, but it's going to be have everything that Toastmasters convention has. And it's like getting together with your family. Every year you meet all those people that you miss seeing. It's so much fun. It's so exciting. We had our in-person board meeting for the first time in 2 years. And it was so exciting to see everyone and be in the same room. We're going to follow all the protocols to try and keep people as safe as possible. We've checked with the WHO, all that needs to be done. A lot of planning, a lot of preparation, excellent workshops, the contests, everything. It's going to be so much fun. So I really hope you'll make it, Sal. I know that there's some districts that said, we're going to have an online conference, a district conference, so that we can save our money and go to the international convention. So I hope that's true of District 66 as well.
Okay. We have a question from Kristen. You're welcome to ask Roddy. No? Yes? For the same thing? Oh, let's see. How about Vic? Is it Vicky?
Yes,
Next
it's
question.
Vicky in the chat.
Yes, I saw that question.
Okay.
The question is, how much time does it take away from your full-time job to participate on the Toastmasters board? I think one has to be organized and disciplined. I work full-time at AT&T, and I'm also on the board. And I have to say that I think it's important that you have people from all different backgrounds and perspectives on the board. And I'm the only person on the executive committee with a 9-to-5 perspective. And yes, it is challenging, but I think if you're disciplined and focused, and you know that every day after work, from this time to this time, I'll check my messages, I'll read my work, be organized, do all the reading preparation for the board meetings in advance, it can be done. But it is challenging, I agree. Even as a district leader, it's a lot of work. I can see Maggie nodding her head. It's not easy. But you know what? It's extremely rewarding. Doing something hard to do, if you do it well, that's when you feel like accomplishment rather than doing something easy. So it's a great opportunity. And in Toastmasters, there's so many opportunities. And I would like people to try and not think, oh, I have a full-time job, I can't be on the board. Yes, you can. And give the feedback. We all improve with feedback. If you think, oh, this is taking too much time, I would like to do, give us your feedback on how we can improve, how we can do better. And that's what I intend to do. I finally learned to find my voice and speak up. So yes.
Well, thank you so much, Roddy. Let's everyone give her another hand of applause. Appreciate it. Putting you on the spot right there. And of course, as a Toastmaster, you just shine.
Thank you.
All right, I have a couple more dignitaries that came in. We have our past International Director, Salah Saad, came in. We have our current District Officer, William Tyree, that came in, and also our past District Governor Director, Jerry Clark. So let's give them a round of applause for joining us this evening as well. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this back over to you, Tammy.
Thank you so much, Ina. And thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Spear, for that wonderful, motivating talk. It was so inspiring because all of us are in some way or some form, either before or now, trying to find our voice and way. And you just reminded us what Toastmaster is all about and how it can help us to move forward. So thank you very much.